Welcome back to ABC General Hospital Spoilers channel. Today, we will learn about the explosive developments set to rock Port Charles during the week of November 24th to 28th, as Drew Cain prepares to bend down on one knee once again to propose to Willow Tate in what promises to be one of the most emotionally charged moments of the entire November sweeps period. This particular storyline has been building for months, with subtle hints dropped in nearly every episode since Drew's miraculous recovery from the mysterious shooting that nearly claimed his life. And the choice of location for this proposal carries layers of dramatic significance that could fundamentally alter the trajectory of multiple characters while sending shockwaves through the entire Corinthos and Quartermain families. The upcoming scenes will showcase Drew Cain down on one knee in the exact same secluded spot where he was brutally gunned down months earlier, a location that holds dark secrets and painful memories that have remained buried beneath the surface of Port Charles' daily drama. The preview pictures released by General Hospital's promotional team reveal Drew standing in that fateful location, ring box in hand, with Willow's shocked expression suggesting she immediately recognizes the significance of where this proposal is taking place. Fans have been speculating for weeks about why the writers would deliberately choose this specific location. Of all the romantic spots available in Port Charles, the Quartermain Boathouse, the Metro Court rooftop, the park where they first connected when they could have selected anywhere else for such a pivotal moment. The deliberate choice suggests this is far from coincidental and likely represents the culmination of a carefully orchestrated storytelling architecture designed to maximize emotional impact while potentially unlocking the central mystery that has haunted the canvas since Drew was found bleeding on the ground. The significance of this location cannot be overstated, as it represents the epicenter of one of Port Charles' most perplexing unsolved crimes. With Willow Tate currently positioned as the primary suspect in the PCPD's ongoing investigation, despite the lack of definitive evidence linking her to the trigger, Detective Dante Falconeri has been quietly building a case file that contains circumstantial evidence, witness statements that place Willow in the vicinity on the night of the shooting, and mysterious gaps in her memory that she has dismissed as trauma-induced blackouts following her brutal courtroom loss of custody over Wiley and Amelia Corinthos. The police department's interest in Willow has been steadily intensifying, with forensic specialists combing through DNA evidence recovered from a discarded shell casing that was initially overlooked at the crime scene, creating a ticking clock scenario where scientific proof could emerge at any moment to either exonerate or incriminate the troubled nurse. For viewers, this has created a fascinating dichotomy where rooting for Willow's happiness with Drew requires simultaneously grappling with the possibility that she may have attempted to murder him in cold blood, a narrative tension that General Hospital's writing team has expertly cultivated through carefully paced revelations and character-driven storytelling. The dissociative identity disorder theory that has gained traction among the General Hospital fan community represents one of the most compelling psychological frameworks for understanding Willow's increasingly erratic behavior, particularly her disturbing stalking campaign against Daisy Gilmore that preceded the shooting incident. When Willow discovered she had lost sole custody of her children, her emotional breakdown was so severe that it required immediate hospitalization, with Dr. Kevin Collins personally overseeing her case and noting in his confidential medical files that Willow exhibited symptoms consistent with dissociative episodes, including lost time, unexplained absences, and personality shifts that terrified those closest to her. The subsequent campaign of terror she waged against both Daisy and Sasha Gilmore, methodically driving them out of Port Charles through calculated psychological manipulation and veiled threats, displayed a level of strategic coldness that felt fundamentally at odds with the compassionate nurse viewers had known for years. These actions were executed with such precision and lack of emotional remorse that they suggested a completely different personality had taken control, one capable of premeditated violence and ruthless decision-making that the core Willow would find abhorrent and unthinkable. What makes the DID theory particularly persuasive is the pattern of evidence that has emerged, showing Willow repeatedly finding herself in situations where her actions cannot be fully accounted for, with gaping holes in her memory that she has been too ashamed and frightened to fully investigate or disclose to her loved ones. The shooting of Drew Kane represents the most extreme example of this pattern, as the thought of Willow deliberately planning and executing an assassination attempt on the man she loved seems so far beyond her established character boundaries that it requires a psychological explanation of equal magnitude. Her stalking of Daisy crossed moral lines that shocked longtime viewers, yet she faced zero consequences due to insufficient proof, allowing that darker aspect of her personality to remain unchecked and potentially grow stronger. If Willow is indeed suffering from undiagnosed dissociative identity disorder, the proposal taking place in the location of her most violent act could serve as the ultimate trigger, forcing her suppressed memories to the surface in a torrent of terrifying recollections that will leave her questioning everything she believes about herself and her capacity for violence. The psychological implications of such a memory trigger extend far beyond simply solving the mystery of who shot Drew, as they would force a complete reevaluation of Willow's entire recent history, her relationships, her fitness as a mother, and her fundamental sense of identity. Imagine the devastating moment when fragments of that night begin flashing through her mind: the feel of the gun's weight in her hand, the smell of gunpowder, the sight of Drew falling to the ground, and the split-second decision to flee the scene, all while another consciousness presumably took control of her body. Such a revelation would not only destroy her relationship with Drew, but would also place her in immediate legal jeopardy, potentially facing attempted murder charges that could send her to prison for decades, leaving her children permanently in the custody of Michael Corinthos and his family. The Quartermain family would be torn apart, with some members demanding justice and others, like Michael, potentially standing by Willow as she seeks treatment for her mental health crisis, creating a family civil war that would reverberate through every storyline on the canvas. November Sweeps has always been General Hospital's opportunity to deliver game-changing revelations and bombshell moments that reset the board for months to come. And the timing of this proposal suggests the writers are planning nothing less than a complete character transformation for Willow Tate. The final week of Sweeps Month traditionally features the culmination of long-brewing mysteries, with ratings-grabbing twists designed to keep viewers glued to their screens during the crucial advertising period, and revealing that the beloved heroine is actually a fragmented personality capable of attempted murder would certainly qualify as appointment television. The speculation among insiders suggests that the memory trigger might not happen immediately during the proposal itself, but rather could be seeded through haunting flashbacks and nightmare sequences that build throughout the week, culminating in a Friday cliffhanger where Willow either confesses to Drew or is confronted by Dante with irrefutable evidence linking her to the crime. Such a structure would maximize viewer engagement while giving the actors involved, particularly Caitlin McMullen, who plays Willow, the dramatic material necessary to showcase the full range of their talents as they navigate the complex emotional terrain of a woman discovering she contains multitudes she never knew existed. Furthermore, the ripple effects of this revelation would extend into nearly every corner of Port Charles, affecting characters who have no direct connection to the shooting itself, but whose relationships with both Willow and Drew would be forever altered by this truth coming to light. Sonny Corinthos, having faced his own mental health struggles, might become an unlikely advocate for Willow's treatment rather than punishment, while Carly would likely demand vengeance for the man she considers family, creating friction in their newly reconciled relationship. Nina Reeves, who has her own complicated history with both Willow and Drew, would be positioned in an impossible situation, potentially having to choose between supporting her former enemy's mental health journey or prioritizing her own family's safety. The Corinthos organization would face scrutiny if it were revealed that the shooting was connected to mob activity, even peripherally, potentially bringing federal investigators back into town and threatening Sonny's delicate truce with law enforcement. Even characters like Elizabeth Baldwin, as head nurse, would face professional consequences if it turned out she had overlooked signs of Willow's mental deterioration, potentially placing General Hospital itself under review for failing to protect both its employee and the public. The production team has clearly invested significant resources into crafting this storyline, with location scouts, cinematographers, and directors working in concert to ensure that the visual language of the proposal scene mirrors the aesthetics of the shooting flashbacks, creating subconscious connections for the audience even before the explicit memory trigger occurs. The lighting, camera angles, and even the weather conditions in the upcoming episodes have been carefully selected to evoke the same atmosphere as that fateful night, with subtle musical cues echoing the score that played during the original shooting sequence. This attention to detail demonstrates the writer's commitment to rewarding long-term viewers who have been patiently assembling the puzzle pieces, while also providing enough dramatic fireworks to captivate casual audiences who may be tuning in for the first time during sweeps period. The choreography of Drew's proposal has been designed to maximize the emotional weight, with deliberate pacing that allows Willow's growing discomfort to manifest visibly, her hands trembling, her breath quickening, and her eyes darting to the exact spot where Drew fell, all while he remains blissfully unaware of the psychological storm brewing within her. What makes this moment particularly tragic is the genuine love that exists between Drew and Willow, a connection that has weathered numerous storms including her cancer battle, custody disputes, and the recent shooting trauma that has bound them together through shared survival. Drew's decision to propose again, in this specific location, likely stems from a desire to reclaim that space, to transform a site of violence into one of love and commitment, demonstrating his character's resilience and his determination to build a future unburdened by the past. From his perspective, choosing this location represents an act of defiance against the unknown assailant who tried to take his life, a symbolic gesture that says their love is stronger than the hatred that put him in the hospital. However, this noble intention may backfire spectacularly, turning what should be the happiest moment of their relationship into the catalyst for its complete destruction, as the location's traumatic associations prove too powerful for Willow's fractured psyche to overcome. The upcoming episodes will also likely feature parallel storylines that intersect with this central mystery, including the ongoing investigation by the PCPD, which may receive a crucial breakthrough from an unexpected source just as Willow begins to remember. Perhaps a previously unseen witness will come forward, or forensic evidence will be re-examined using new technology, creating a race against time where Willow's psychological journey toward truth coincides with the legal machinery of justice grinding into motion. Characters like Sam McCall, with her own investigative instincts, might piece together clues that Dante has missed, while Curtis Ashford's private security firm could uncover surveillance footage that captures the shooting from an angle previously thought unavailable. These intersecting investigations will heighten the stakes, ensuring that even if Willow attempts to suppress her returning memories, external forces will conspire to bring the truth to light, creating a pressure cooker scenario where secrets cannot remain buried. Next, we will learn about the issue that has captured the hearts and minds of daytime television fans across the nation, the beloved Maurice Benard, whose commanding portrayal of the formidable crime boss Sonny Corinthos has dominated ABC's General Hospital for decades, recently experienced a moment of poignant vulnerability that he graciously shared with his devoted social media following. This revelation, which emerged just as the weekend approached, struck a chord with viewers who have come to see the silver-haired actor not just as the tough mob patriarch he embodies on screen, but as a tender, doting grandfather whose real-life soft spots are as endearing as they are relatable. The source of Benard's temporary dejection stems from an all-too-familiar scenario that countless grandparents face worldwide, yet when it happens to someone of his stature, it becomes a moment of shared humanity that transcends the glitz and glamour of Hollywood. The incident in question involves his cherished grandson Milo, one of the too precious grandchildren who have become the undisputed center of the actor's universe away from the cameras and scripted drama of Port Charles. while Benard's Instagram feed regularly showcases his special bond with his granddaughter TT, born in 2020 to his daughter Kaylee Avila and her husband Carlos Avila. This particular episode highlighted the unique challenges of connecting with a toddler whose priorities are singularly focused on the culinary adventure before him. The actor took to his Instagram platform, where he commands a following of hundreds of thousands of loyal fans who hang on his every post, whether it be about General Hospital storylines, his mental health advocacy work, or precious family moments. This time, he shared a candid video reel featuring young Milo, now just over 2 years old, deeply engrossed in the primal satisfaction of enjoying his meal with the kind of unwavering concentration that would make any mindfulness coach proud. The footage captured those universal moments of toddlerhood, tiny hands grasping bits of food, expressive face alternating between concentration and delight, and the inevitable gravitational experiments that send morsels tumbling to the floor below. What made this ordinary scene extraordinary was the presence of one of daytime television's most recognizable voices trying desperately to pierce through the food-focused trance. Benard's caption revealed the depth of his grandfatherly frustration with a candor that only someone secure in their role could muster. "Baby Milo ignores me when he's eating. It's pretty annoying. Maybe he just loves to eat. What do you think?" The actor wrote, his words carrying that distinctive mix of amusement and genuine perplexity that defines grandparental love. The admission that he felt a bit annoyed because Milo kept deliberately dropping food on the floor, only to be met with stone-cold silence when questioned about his behavior, painted a picture of domestic normalcy that contrasts sharply with the high-stakes power plays his character Sonny executes daily on General Hospital. The image of Sonny Corinthos, the man who commands respect from entire criminal organizations, being reduced to chopped liver status by a 2-year-old with a sandwich is both hilariously ironic and deeply touching. The comment section beneath Benard's post exploded with reactions that revealed the tight-knit community that has formed around the actor's social media presence, a digital family that extends far beyond the traditional boundaries of soap opera fandom. Hardly anyone expressed sympathy for the veteran actor's feelings of rejection. Instead, the overwhelming consensus celebrated Milo's independence and adorable determination. One follower gushed, "He is so handsome. He's going to be a big star one day," a prediction that speaks to the genetic lottery the child has clearly won. Another fan drew the inevitable comparison, writing, "So handsome like his grandpa. I'm sure he takes after you," followed by a string of laughing emojis that acknowledge the delightful narcissism of seeing one's own features reflected in the next generation. The comments thread quickly evolved into a collective storytelling session, with followers sharing their own experiences of being similarly dismissed by tiny tyrants whose culinary exploits bordered on performance art. The shared anecdotes ranged from restaurant disasters, where entire meals found their way to the floor, to home-based food fights that left parents and grandparents questioning their life choices. One particularly vivid commenter recounted, "I had that happen a few years ago. Friends came to town, went to restaurant, and when we left his food was on floor. A scenario that perfectly captures the public humiliation aspect of toddler dining that so many have endured." Others offered reassurance that this phase, like all phases of childhood, is mercifully temporary, predicting that one day the tables would turn and Milo would hang on his grandfather's every word, especially when Benard begins regaling him with tales of his General Hospital adventures and the days when he used to be rejected by his own grandson. This future role reversal is a source of great amusement for longtime fans who have watched the actor's journey from troubled young mobster to patriarchal figure both on and off screen. The family dynamics at play here deserve closer examination, as they reveal the beautiful tapestry of love and connection that Benard has woven through his real-life role as family patriarch. His daughter Kaylee Avila, who has maintained a relatively low profile compared to her famous father, has created with her husband Carlos a nurturing environment where these precious grandchildren can thrive away from the overwhelming spotlight that inevitably follows the Benard name. The arrival of TT in 2020 marked a new chapter in Maurice's life, one that he has embraced with the same intensity he brings to his Emmy-winning performances. Fans have been treated to countless special moments between grandfather and granddaughter, from quiet reading sessions to boisterous playtimes, each documented with the pride of a man who understands the fleeting nature of childhood and the importance of preserving these memories. When Milo arrived just over 2 years ago, the family constellation shifted again, and Benard's social media presence expanded to include the adventures of navigating grandparenthood with multiple grandchildren. The actor previously shared the precious moment when TT met her baby brother, a scene that melted hearts across his follower base as the older siblings' curiosity and gentle protectiveness came shining through. Both children, fans agree, seem to have inherited not just the Benard good looks, but also what appears to be a strong-willed nature that serves them well in their quest for independence, even if it means temporarily sidelining their famous grandfather's attempts at conversation during mealtimes. The broader implications of this seemingly simple family anecdote resonate deeply within the General Hospital community, where viewers have spent decades investing in the Corinthos family saga. To see their beloved Sonny Corinthos, a man who has survived countless mob wars, betrayals, and personal tragedies, be so thoroughly undone by a toddler's dining preferences humanizes him in ways that no scripted storyline ever could. It reminds fans that behind the tough exterior and dramatic monologues beats the heart of a man who values family above all else, who experiences the same joys and frustrations as any other grandfather trying to connect with the next generation. This relatability factor is precisely what has made Benard's social media presence such a powerful extension of his on-screen persona, creating a holistic experience for fans who feel they know both the actor and the character intimately. The psychology behind Milo's behavior, while perfectly normal for his developmental stage, offers fascinating insight into the toddler mind that prioritizes sensory experiences and immediate needs over social niceties. Child development experts would likely explain that at 2 years old, children are in what Piaget termed the pre-operational stage, where egocentrism dominates their worldview and the act of eating becomes an all-consuming task that requires their full cognitive resources. The food dropping, rather than being a deliberate act of defiance, probably represents experimentation with cause and effect, gravity, and autonomy concepts that are crucial for healthy development. Benard's gentle frustration, therefore, represents the universal grandparental experience of having to recalibrate expectations and remember that their grandchild's rejection is not personal but developmental, a necessary step in the journey toward independence that every child must take. What makes this particular story so compelling for General Hospital fans is the delicious irony of seeing Sonny Corinthos, a character who has built an empire on commanding attention and respect, be so thoroughly dismissed by someone who doesn't even understand the concept of fame or intimidation. Milo's innocent disregard for his grandfather's celebrity status is perhaps the healthiest thing possible for Benard, keeping him grounded and reminding him that in the eyes of his grandchildren, he's not a soap opera legend, but simply grandpa, sometimes interesting, sometimes annoying, but always there. This dynamic will undoubtedly evolve as Milo grows older and begins to understand the magnitude of his grandfather's career. But for now, the purity of their relationship exists in this beautiful bubble where food trumps fame every single time. The fan community's response also deserves deeper analysis, as it demonstrates the unique relationship between soap opera stars and their audience, a bond forged through daily immersion in characters' lives that often spans decades. These viewers have watched Maurice Benard grow up on their screens, they've witnessed his character's evolution, and they've supported him through his real-life advocacy for mental health awareness. When they comment on his family posts, they're not just casual observers, but invested participants in his journey, offering advice, sharing similar experiences, and celebrating milestones as if they were extended family members themselves. This level of engagement is rare in the entertainment industry and speaks to the special place that General Hospital holds in the daytime television landscape, where consistency and longevity create relationships that transcend the typical performer-audience dynamic. Looking ahead, one can imagine the stories that will be told in future years as Milo and TT grow old enough to understand their grandfather's place in television history. The day will come when Milo, perhaps now a teenager with his own interests and social circles, will sit with his grandfather and watch old episodes of General Hospital, marveling at the fact that this man, who can't get him to look up from his lunchbox, contains multitudes of dramatic performances that captivated millions. Benard will likely tell him about this very incident, about how frustrating it was to be ignored, and they'll laugh together at the memory, the temporal distance making it funnier and more precious. These are the moments that build family legends, the stories that get repeated at holidays and family gatherings, cementing the bond between generations in ways that transcend the everyday interactions that seem so important in the moment. The actor's willingness to share these vulnerable moments with his public demonstrates a sophisticated understanding of modern celebrity, where authenticity and relatability are the currencies that matter most. Rather than maintaining an impenetrable facade of perfection, Benard invites his followers into the messy, beautiful reality of family life, complete with its minor frustrations and profound joys. This strategy has earned him not just fans, but devoted supporters who feel personally connected to his success and happiness. A community that celebrates his victories and commiserates with his challenges as if they were their own. In an era where social media often showcases only the highlight reels of life, Benard's candid admission about feeling rejected by a toddler eating his lunch is refreshingly honest and deeply humanizing. As we reflect on this delightful slice of life from the Benard family album, it's worth considering the broader cultural significance of seeing our television heroes in such domestic contexts. These glimpses behind the curtain remind us that the actors who bring our favorite characters to life are, at their core, people navigating the same universal experiences of love, family, and the occasional toddler power struggle that defines the human condition. For General Hospital fans, this story about Milo and his grandfather serves as a perfect metaphor for the show itself, sometimes dramatic, often funny, occasionally frustrating, but always rooted in the fundamental importance of family connections and the enduring bonds that sustain us through every phase of life. The next time viewers see Sonny Corinthos laying down the law in a Port Charles boardroom or dispensing wisdom to his on-screen children, they'll carry with them this image of Maurice Benard, slightly dejected but endlessly amused, trying to get his grandson's attention over a plate of scattered food, and they'll love him all the more for it.